So here we have question 14 where we have a parallel shaped building that has a base length of 85 and it has 5 floors. Each floor is 3.5 meters. So in order to work this out, we can firstly identify that it tells us in the question that it's a parallelogram. So we can use that information to tell us that the area is going to be equal to the base times the height. Secondly, it tells us that the base length is 85 meters. That's that length across here, so we can label our diagram. And thirdly, it tells us that the height of this building is 5 floors. Each floor is 3.5 meters. So 5 times 3.5 is going to give us 17.5 meters in height. We can then substitute our values into our formula. So base is 85 times by the height, which is 17.5. And then using our calculator, we can calculate that and it becomes 1487.5 meters squared because it's area. Okay, question 16 tells us there is a patchwork quilt and it's got squares on it that are 10 centimeters long. Now, because they're squares, if they're 10 centimeters long, then they're also 10 centimeters in height. And there's a series of 32 identical green or white isosceles triangles. Now these create parallelograms. And that's really the key here, the fact that it tells us that it creates parallelograms. So we know we can use the rule for parallelogram. Now in the section that's been highlighted by the red outline, we can see that there are 4 green parallelograms and 4 white parallelograms, so 8 parallelograms in total. So once we find the area of one parallelogram, we are then going to be able to multiply that by 8, and that will give us the total of the internal area of that particular shape. So if we look at one parallelogram, and the way to look at this would be to rotate it and look at it this way, and you can see that the base is going to be 10 and the height is going to be 10, okay? And it makes logical sense if you take the 2 triangles and actually put them and made a square out of them. It would actually make a square 10 by 10, okay? So this makes our calculation here quite simple. The area here equals the base times the height, so it's 10 times 10. So it's going to equal 100 centimeters. It should be centimeters. Squared. And that's just for one parallelogram. We then can multiply that by our 8, okay? So our total will equal 8 times 100, so that will equal 800 centimeters squared as our final result.